Monica and David had been dating for 6 months, even though they were very different. Monica came from a wealthy family and was attending a prestigious university and planned to join the family business after graduation. David, on the other hand, grew up without a father, and his mother raised him alone. From the age of 15, he was used to relying only on himself. Despite this difference, Monica was not embarrassed. She sincerely loved David and considered their relationship very serious. Soon she introduced David to her parents. It was Sunday. The young couple came to Monica's parents' house for dinner. During the meal, they discussed various topics until finally the girl gathered her courage and timidly announced to her parents that she and David had decided to get married. The father silently set aside his knife and fork and gazed intently at his daughter. He asked Monica menacingly if she was pregnant, as if he could see no other reason for such haste. David tried to convince the man that they loved each other and wanted to create a strong family, but the head of the family was not satisfied. Suddenly, Monica's mother intervened in the conversation. She calmly reminded her husband that they had also married early and had never regretted it. This diffused the tension somewhat, and the rest of the evening passed quietly. Monica was grateful to her mother, who always came to the rescue and helped out in difficult situations. After dinner, the mother and daughter were alone and talked by the fireplace. The girl enthusiastically told her mother how wonderful David was, and for the mother, the most important thing was that they loved and trusted each other. Monica kissed her mother goodnight and ran off to her room. She couldn't fall asleep until morning, as she imagined herself in a gorgeous white dress surrounded by countless white flowers. In her romantic dream, David slipped a ring on her finger, and they looked into each other's eyes, repeating the words of their vows. After meeting the bride's parents, David told his best friend Russell about the upcoming wedding. However, Russell did not share David's joy and enthusiasm. On the contrary, he felt quite saddened because he was losing a friend with whom he was used to sharing the fun of single life. "I'm sure Monica isn't serious about you. It's just a fantasy that such a rich girl would be interested in an ordinary guy like you. I'm certain that if anything were to happen to you, she would throw you out of her life like a toy." David was outraged with his friend for saying these words and wanted to get up and leave. However, Russell pulled one last trick and offered a bet. If he lost, he would beg for Monica's forgiveness on his knees, and if he won, David would buy him a dozen bottles of expensive whiskey. David felt that there was nothing good in this bet, but he agreed to prove Russell wrong. On the same day, Russell helped David come up with a story to tell Monica. Although he was nervous because he didn't like lying, he trusted that Monica would not let him down, and when she found out the truth, they could laugh at Russell together. The following day, David and Monica met at a cafe. As Monica started discussing their future honeymoon, David, with a sad face, told her that they should not rush into it. He explained that he had recently received medical test results that showed he had incurable fibrodysplasia, a severe and rare disease. David did not want to unfairly subject Monica to a life with a disabled husband, so he offered to end their relationship immediately, allowing Monica to find a healthy man who could make her happy. Seeing Monica crying, David wanted to tell her it was all a joke, but he remembered his agreement with Russell not to confess until a week had passed. David hugged Monica and walked her home. For 5 days they hadn't seen each other or talked on the phone. Russell rejoiced, anticipating his winnings, and David was going crazy. On the 6th day, Monica called and asked him to meet her at the same cafe where he had told her about his illness. Upon Monica's arrival, David immediately wanted to express his love for her and apologize for the foolish bet. However, Monica stopped him with a gesture and informed him that she knew how to help. Through her story, David learned that her father knew a doctor in one of Germany's best clinics. If they could gather the necessary documents and fly out quickly, David could be saved. His father would cover the expenses. David realized that he had not only gotten himself into a foolish situation, but a despicable one. He stopped Monica abruptly, blushing fiercely, and explained that he was not sick. He had always believed in Monica, but it was his friend Russell who had convinced him to test her feelings before the wedding and to see if Monica would leave him or not. Monica was furious. She couldn't believe that David was foolish enough to make a bet with a friend and then pretend to be sick, especially to prove to someone that she loved him for real. Furthermore, this deception had distracted and disturbed many serious people. David tried to calm Monica down and apologized, but she took her purse and silently walked out from behind the table. Almost at the exit, she turned around and asked what they had bet on. When she found out it was 12 bottles of whiskey, she bitterly grinned and left. David walked home with tears streaming down his face. He called Russell and told him that he had won the bet, but he had lost Monica in the end. Russell listened to David and smiled smugly, relieved to have regained the friend he had almost lost. The next day, a delivery man brought 12 bottles of whiskey to David's apartment, along with a note from Monica, wishing him luck.